Aloha mai kako. Welcome to episode number 72 of the Aloha Hour podcast with Johnny and Steezy. Before we get things started, mahalo for joining us, keeping us pumped. Happy New Year. If you could like, share, subscribe, please do help us grow. When we grow, you grow. We all grow together. Before we get things started, we want to mahalo our friends from Hawaiian Aroma Cafe, some of the best coffee in your life. Our friends from Waiakea as well, and Secret Spot Honolulu for all the vibes and support our local bands who are there nightly, 7 nights a week.
All right. Thank you for that. And I'm going to introduce our guest for today. He is the Deputy Head of State of the Nation of Hawaii, the oldest Hawaiian independence organization in Hawaii. He assists the head of state in the day-to-day operations of the village of Pu'uhonua O Waimanalo, the nation's sovereign land base. He also helps to manage the Pu'uhonua O Waimanalo community broadband network. He is Brendan Maka'awa'awa.
All
right.
Let's go.
Okay, Kumahula already. It'll start raining in there. Oh,
the first thing when I saw his last name, I'm like, don't fuck this up.
He was in the mirror.
I'm like, Maka'awa'awa. Maka'awa'awa. Maka'awa'awa.
I'm impressed, guys.
For real.
You local.
For real.
Thank you for joining us, Mini Bumpy.
Thank you. Yeah. They call me Bumpy Light, actually.
Bumpy Light. Yeah.
Same message, just different sound.
Your delivery is much more modern, bro.
Yeah.
I like your style because it's very clear.
Yeah.
You know, Bumpy, you still get the aggression and everything.
Oh,
sometimes the aggression overshadow the message.
You're not gonna ever change because that's what got him to where he is. You know, if it wasn't for those kupunas knocking down the doors like that, couldn't have guys like us guys coming through and after the door get knocked down, okay, we gotta smoothen the pathway forward. But that's all part of the evolution of the message of sovereignty for our people, because we gotta normalize them. You get people like my uncle and the kupunas that laid the groundwork. They had to wake guys up because people wasn't listening. They wasn't used to that. But then you get the other generations that come after that our job is to normalize that so that things do change. So cannot always be aggressive, but I like to say that our message is exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's just a different delivery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's good. I like it. Very detailed, and I feel like I digest a lot more of the details in it.
Oh, thank you.
You
Appreciate that.
So Nation of Hawaii, yeah. I know it starts before that with the seeds being planted of what happened to Hawaiians
Right.
throughout history, but I feel like the big beginning was Makapu.
Yeah.
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 Where were you in Makapu?
Actually, we just got our homestead in Waimanalo and Makapu happened. Uncle is actually my real uncle. That's my family, But during that time,
How old were you?
I was about 12. About 12. But my cousins that was, part of the movement, like my uncle's son, the daughter, and all that, they was with my uncle from early on, because Makapu, when they occupied the beach, this was the second occupation of Makapu. He actually went occupy Makapu Lighthouse. So that trail that everybody go up there, he occupied that whole place in 1987. And yeah, so and they got raided. They occupied that place for like 2 months. And my cousin, he was like 9 years old when they came and raided them. No mercy. The kind he got clotheslined. Like my Uncle Bumpy was down on the ground. They had like 3 cops on top of him. He was looking up and seeing his son just get leaned out by one SWAT. Because, they've had cameras back then, nobody gonna, And so when I was growing up, hearing the stories of that, and my family, we a little bit more straight laced than my uncle, my uncle is too hot. for a lot of my family members. So I never grew up with my uncle. My uncle was like the boogeyman, you know, and he's the boogeyman for most Hawaiians, you know, because the biggest critics of Hawaiians is Hawaiians. And my uncle was hated a lot of times, unfortunately, for his aggressive way of doing things. But you know what? If it wasn't for him being that way, we wouldn't get anywhere where he is today, you know? Sometimes you need the guys for push the boundaries real far so that people can come up behind and not seem as aggressive, you know, and not seem as the kind like this, you know, my uncle gonna show you the extremes so you're gonna settle for Hawaiian language at UH. You know, my uncle pushed for that, you know, in his own ways. He would show up with brothers, and when they was gonna lock everybody out and get rid of the Hawaiian language, you know, being taught at UH, they went over there and basically would muscle the doors open. He was the muscle so that people like Haunani K. Trask would be the voices with all that kind of stuff. My uncle is always in the background playing those roles. You know, he brought the hood, he brought the muscle to the movement back then. And, you know, those leaders, like, if wasn't for them laying the groundwork, we wouldn't be able to sit down and talk calmly about these things. We would still be out there fighting, and I don't can fight like my uncle, so I wouldn't match. But I can do this. I can talk plainly with other folks about something that, you know, seems really complex, but it really isn't. It's about doing the right thing. But yeah, back to the question. Sorry, I was 12. You know, I grew up and I watched my uncle them occupy that beach for 15 months, and I was amazed. I was amazed at what he did, and you know, the only person in my family that actually liked my uncle was my grandma. And I love my grandma. And my grandma was like hardcore, like sovereignty believer. But she was, you know, she was an old lady, but she would go to all the meetings. She would, you know, come back and tell us about them. Because my mom wouldn't let us go with her, like, you know. But, yeah, I just grew up kind of secretly idolizing, not knowing that in the future I would have one deeper relationship.
And grandma's been like, give him, uncle.
Give him.
Give him.
All the kupunas, they wouldn't like my uncle. That's the thing. The guys that had stuff for lose, they never liked my uncle. But the kupunas that already went live their life and they seen the worst of the worst. Like, you gotta understand, like, the kupunas that grew up in the 40s, the 50s, and 60s, when they was going through statehood, when they was taking away the language and all that, they saw all of that.
That was the generations where they're getting beat up. It
was getting beat up. You know, they was shameful to be Hawaiian. A lot of my, you know, family members, like those that age, you look on their birth certificate, they put down their Spanish instead of their Hawaiian. That's how shame was for being Hawaiian. They lived through all of that. So when they seen my uncle coming up in the 80s, yeah, we get one guy, you know, that not gonna take shit and gonna keep pushing. All that sort of kupunas in love, my uncle. But then that made the jealousy more with the kids, because the kids would look at him and, like, you know, they're taking their place, because the kupunas, you know, their mom and dads would admire my uncle, and then they're looking at their kids like, why you not doing this? Like, what you doing? You know, kind. So look and win.
You know, to that point, maybe I'm wrong, but you know, when I look at stuff, I feel like America, the white man, however you want to call it, they respect power. Every strong person respects power.
Yeah.
America respects China,
Mm-hmm.
respects Russia, right?
Yeah.
But they don't fucking give a fuck about fucking Nigeria.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck about Lebanon. They
Or
don't
Malaysia.
give a fuck about Malaysia.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck about Syria.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck about Iran, Iraq. They can go in, fucking flatten the place, and nobody asks questions. Nobody cares. It's the same kids. It's the same people, same human, but nobody cares. But when they see someone that is strong and making all taran, okay, now we got to take him seriously.
Yeah.
So sometimes there's a time for talk and there's a time for make trouble.
Yeah.
And if you just try to talk, it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
Maybe 8 out of 10 times it will.
Yeah.
But there's those 2 times that if you're not going to, fucking flip the table.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Jesus. Yeah. That's the guys that create change. It's not the guys that follow the rules.
Yeah, 100%.
And us, when we talk to the kids today too, we don't sugarcoat anything. And one of the big things I tell them is, there's a difference between law, justice. Sound the same, look the same. Justice, well, let me say law first. Law is man's interpretation of what justice is. Justice is right or wrong. So sometimes you gotta break the law to do what is right. Because slavery was legal at one point in time. Why? Because that's man's interpretation of what was right for their economy. As soon as you add man to the issue, it just it morphs it mutates it into something that fits a certain system. But if you stick to what is right and what is wrong,
yeah,
it's pretty easy to figure out, like, in the future, who's gonna be on the right side and who will be on the wrong side. When you look at what my uncle did, all the action he created, he went jail, he did all these things. You're gonna look back at him and say that, like, brother was right the whole time.
Yeah.
He broke the law and he was right. Because what has happened to our people was wrong. And he never cared. And unfortunately, when people do those things, they gotta bring their families to a situation, right? And so their family gotta grow up in one household that, a dad is one aggressive Hawaiian. They get only activist friends, and you get all of this kind of stuff. So he sacrificed his family to push us to where we needed to be today. And one of the main things about my uncle is, like, he's real steadfast on his rights. And one of the biggest things that he taught me, which totally, like, made me, really respect the way he views things, is he follows his na'au, and he go on big moral compass of what is right and wrong. The closest to anybody else I seen. More better than one cop and one politician. He know, this is street justice kind. He know what is right and what is wrong because he's seen so much of it. But when he was at Makapu, one of the biggest things he did was actually he stood on actual law. I'm talking kind of shady about law, but he actually went utilized one law to actually make that stand at Makapu Beach. And it's called the Apology Law, U.S. Public Law 103-150. With that law, he was able to occupy Makapu Beach for over 15 months.
What is that law?
That law is actually America's official apology to the Hawaiian people.
The Bill Clinton one.
That Bill Clinton signed in 1993, November 23rd, 1993. This law is like one of the most important laws that actually ever got signed for any indigenous peoples that was wronged anywhere in the world. You gotta remember, America only, up until that point, America had only apologized twice in its history. Today, they've apologized 5 times. 250 years of history, 250 years of colonization, of overthrowing governments, of slavery, of doing all these things. They never did apologize for slavery, mind you. But they apologized to the Hawaiian people for not only stealing our lands, and they name out 1.8 million acres, ceded lands that they took from us, but they also apologized for the suppression of our sovereignty, and they admit that we have never relinquished our sovereignty to our national identity or to our lands to this day. So it exists. It exists today. And what my uncle did, when he started this occupation, was really one frustration thing, he said. He started the occupation in 1993 because 1993 was this big celebration of the overthrow. It was his 100-year anniversary. Governor Waihe when called, 1993, the year of the Hawaiian. So they had one big march at Iolani Palace. They had big events all over Hawaii, just perpetuating, the overthrow, perpetuating Hawaiian culture, all these things. And my uncle lived in the Waimanalo homestead. He got his own house. But every time he would drive out to the beach park and he got to make the turn for go wherever he got to go, he'd see all his people at the beach. Still yet. Year of the Hawaiian. Everybody patting themselves on the back. Oh, yeah, things getting better, things getting better. Not in the homesteads. Not on the beach. So my uncle said, you know what, fuck this. This is like not right. So what he did was organize all the houses people all along the Waimanalo coast because they was getting just, pushed around families. One family get, shoved out here. One family gets shoved out there. Nobody was together. So he actually organized all them at Kaupo Beach, Baby Makapu. He started out with 40 homeless people. He brought his tent. He said, you know what? If we all get together, they cannot shove us all out. I did this before. 1987, like I was telling you guys, I went up Makapu Lighthouse for 2 months. My family, but, at least you're not going to get shoved around like tomorrow. They send one cop. They're going to have to send 50 cops, something. So he got them all together, and that's how he started the Makapu Kaupo occupation. And this was in March 1993. So as he was like occupying that beach 1 month, 2 months, he started to get support. People started to come down, bring water, bring this, bring that. He had some scholars come in, some sovereignty guys. Never really get to the sovereignty part yet. Still was just about this not right. My uncle never need one law for say that this was right or this was wrong. He just said, he took it upon himself to say, nah, this isn't right. So he started this thing. But he got told that there was going to get this law that was going to get passed, and if it gets passed, it was going to be a big thing because this is the first time America had ever apologized to another people for overthrowing their government illegally and state that it was an act of war and state that, you never lost your sovereignty and actually put down that you never relinquished your rights to 1.8 million acres of your land. So that's basically half of the state of Hawaii. The entire Hawaiian archipelago is about 4 million acres. 1.8 million acres is actually the 100% state lands. All ceded lands. So all the lands that the state has over here, the airport, the stadium, public housing, all the parks, all these properties that they get, that they collect revenues from, that is all lands that in the apology law, America apologized for taking. So the beach parks, all of those things. And so my uncle is like, okay. But my uncle is intelligent. He never graduated from high school and all that, but he's street smart. So he knew somebody was giving him one tip and he was going to milk this thing true because, otherwise, this stand is just basically him making big body. Right?
Yeah.
So now you get the law that tells us that we right. And so he started teaching the houseless people at the beach about their rights. And more so because what they was occupying was on Beach Park. It's public land, which was theirs, which they had more right to than the state. And so what he ended up doing was empowering Hawaiians themselves to stand up for themselves. Because that's one thing with sovereignty. You cannot give sovereignty to somebody. They got to activate that themselves. And the way you activate that to them is you got to educate. That's how sovereignty starts. You cannot just stand behind Keanu Sai. You cannot just stand behind Bumpikana Hele and just go, and the cops show up. Oh, whatever brother said over there, that's ditto.
Yeah.
Cause it don't work that way. You the first guy going in because you don't know your rights. You know more rights.
Yes.
So he taught these houseless people their rights. And for 15 months, they held that beach park. There was 0 arrests. Why? Because they had leverage. State. I always tell people there was 3 things that help us get our land where we are today, because our protest was the only protest to ever turn into from an occupation to an actual land base where we still occupy today, where we're actually building one sovereign nation. And the three things that would help us was we all went and educate ourselves on our rights. Right? So you had one educated mass. At the peak of our occupation, we had 300 people. You know what 300 jail cells in Kailua or even in downtown? So what you get is a critical mass of people. And we was occupying across from a tourist attraction, Sea Life Park. We was protesting every day for 15 months straight. All of these people knew their rights. And not only they knew their rights, they was ready for the consequences, whatever the cops was going to do. When you get that, fuck them kind of mentality, or, yeah, give them, bring them, whatever. But
That
we go in jail.
commitment.
Yeah.
That commitment,
Yeah.
that belief. You pot already, stuck in there. They had no other thing but to wait till we was ready for end the occupation. And that's what ended up happening. Monk went end the occupation because he knew that 6 years prior, he never like all those things happened to all these people. He never let kids, women get clotheslined because he knew that they wasn't ready for that. My uncle, the hardest guy out there, was barely ready for that. He never let that situation happen. So what ended up happening was he came to an agreement with the state, and they would offer him acreage in the back of Waimanalo, which we have now created Pu'uhonua O Waimanalo, the only sovereign Hawaiian land base in existence today, as one way for him to end the occupation. Today, the only reason why there is no reconciliation for Hawaiian, because Hawaiians haven't figured out their leverage. No more leverage. Why? We're not organized. We don't know our rights. No more critical mass. Ready. Take action. Today, we can do exactly what my uncle did at any point in time. At any point in time, because we get the law on our side. We get this law. When the cops used to come and try to harass my uncle and all that, he just threw the law right back in their face. For 15 months, they come try to give them scare tactics. They park across the street at Sea Life Park the whole time, just watching them. No can do nothing. Because everybody know their rights. All they can do is intimidate and play, pretend and all that. But everybody knew it's phony. So they knew their strength and they knew what they had. So all my uncle had to do was keep pressing and keep pressing. But the reason why he got land, because he had leverage. In order for reconciliation to happen, it takes two people sitting at a table to talk something out. So just imagine the table for us, between us and the state, is the apology bill. Why? Because America already agreed that they took 1.8 million acres from us. They already agreed that we never relinquish our sovereignty. Us as Hawaiians, yeah, get more than that. Get more than 1.8 million acres. They actually took 4 million acres, but we can start there. So we get on the table to actually negotiate for the return of our kingdom, of our nation, of our lands. It's in a U.S. law. But the problem with why we were successful and why other people wasn't successful is they never have enough leverage to bring the state to the table to offer them anything. We had the leverage. It takes two people sitting at a table in order for reconciliation to happen. If we at the table and these guys pretending like they don't know what a table is, let's call a slow play for people that, play poker. Like my brother back there. There is no leverage to bring them to the table. So they're just going to wait you out. Yeah. And that is what's happening today. We no more the leverage because we don't know enough of our rights. We're not willing to take that stand. And that's, unfortunately, everybody just trying to survive out there. But these things, can be duplicated again. We've talked with other movements before Mauna Kea. We've talked with plenty other people, but they wasn't ready for this kind of stuff.
You know, I'm gonna assume that planning people has a lot of creature comforts. You know, like give up, right?
Yeah.
Like nobody's gonna want to leave their house for 15 months.
Yeah.
To go occupy space, but there is a how do I say, like pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, right? Which
Yeah.
is, you know, you guys occupied, ended up with Pu'uhonua O Waimanalo. What is the benefits of having the nation of Hawaii now? Like being part of that, for somebody like who's like, I don't like the way living under the U.S. thumb is like, or this fake state government. You know, like our politicians are all full of shit, and I cannot
Right.
take this. You guys, do you still have to deal with any of that, or like, what is the benefits of being able to have your own?
I think the benefits for us is we get one clearer reality on what is possible. You know, if we just live in the reality that the government say get, right, the U.S. government, the state of Hawaii get, that's like one dim, unhopeful reality. We have a perspective that not a lot of people get, which is what happens when you get back your lands, the government get up. That's the hope that we have. That's why I can sit and articulate some of these things that people have a hard time articulating, is because they don't can see the hope part. They only see the trauma part that we all are part of and we all stuck in, you know. But the advantage that we have is we get this village that you can see the hope come out of. So our village, we govern that autonomously, meaning we govern that without any influence from outside governments, from the city and county, the state of Hawaii. We don't have permits for anything. We don't ask permission if, my auntie need one house. If my auntie need one house, we build the house. Not saying that these houses are dangerous. We're going to follow all the specs and all that, but look at permit and planning.
Don't get us started.
Bro, my man.
Cause
It's a sensitive subject over here.
Yeah.
But like, that's what happens when government get in your way and ruin people's lives. For what? The bureaucracy kept us safe. No. Why would we endanger our own families and build something unsafe?
The problem is they forgot they work for us.
Exactly.
They need to come to help us.
Yeah.
You want me to build it in a certain way? No problem. Tell me however you want. I'll build it. Just give me the permit in 15 days and not 15 months.
Exactly. Come talk to you.
Come talk to me. And you know what the problem with those nice gentlemen at the DPP?
Which ones? The ones behind bars or the ones that have been locked up yet?
The ones that are still in office.
I still gotta sign his paperwork.
Talk nice now.
Yeah. See what we gotta do when we're not in the nation.
But like these barriers that like keep us from housing one kupuna. Unnecessary. So that we give people the opportunity to see that. And one thing my uncle taught me when I started working with him more is like, he told me, B, your job is not to get arrested. I did that for you guys. Our families, all that live in this village was all people that was part of the occupation of it. We did that for you guys. Your guys' job is to educate and to constantly remind anybody that is listening, we have rights. Because one day, when nobody say you guys get rights, you either use them or you lose them. It's like muscles. If you stop lifting weights, you just melt. Same thing with sovereignty. If you stop acting sovereign, nobody gonna be sovereign. And we're doing this not just for ourselves, but for all the Hawaiian people, because sovereignty is an action. Sovereignty is not one discussion. Sovereignty is on action. So you can have the guys at UH and they can talk about sovereignty. They can theorize about sovereignty, but they're not doing sovereignty. So they cannot teach sovereignty. If you like learn sovereignty, you got to go to somewhere where they're doing sovereignty. That's what we do. We teach people about that because they have to know that first. We don't like put people in harm's way that don't know their rights, that don't know the consequences, that aren't prepared for all of these things. There are plenty of guys always like come up, oh, beef, we could do this, we could do that, we could do this. And I just tell them, what the plan though? What is the other kind? What the end goal? Oh, nah, we just do this, do that, do this. And we go to Green's house, we kind of call them out. Or like, a couple years ago, you seen the guys go to, the Atui guys go to Oha.
Yes.
Go bring guys out of the office and all that. What was the plan?
Yeah.
Cuz, what was the plan?
But yeah, I don't even know what came of that, bro. I remember that
Arrest.
happening.
That's what came of that. Lawsuits. That's what came of that, because never had one plan. We're just going to camp in Oha's office and what? Access the money. How? You know what I mean? That's not like one vault that they're holding billions of dollars over there. That's one office, cousin.
Yeah.
No more plan. If no more plan, no go. The Kamehameha never did attack without one plan. All great leaders, no move unless you get one plan. The plan begins up here though. If you don't know your rights and you don't know what the plan is and all that, then you're just acting out of fear. You're acting out of fear. You reactionary.
Yeah.
You reactionary and the one thing, my uncle, might get labeled as aggressive, but he was never reactionary. He always had one plan. You know what I mean? You start something, he knew that had consequences at the end. It's like doing anything in the streets. You know what I mean? You're gonna sell whatever, you're gonna do whatever. If you don't have them in your mind that, one day I might get busted and all that, don't even get into them. Don't even start. Because if you're afraid of that can jam you up the whole way. You're going to make fearful decisions, Scared money don't make money, right? So you got to be willing to lose your whole wallet on the table in order to get more. Because if you go out there scared, you're not going to get nothing. And my uncle, he was visionary in that way that he had the right amount of aggression with the right amount of smart, and then the right amount of being able to articulate to the people and relate to the people that he's educating about what their rights was. Because if it wasn't for him teaching these people about their rights, they would have got taken out just like how they got taken out at Makapu Lighthouse. When they got arrested at Makapu Lighthouse, they had 50 people. They had just enough SWAT team available for actually taking that money. But when you get 300 people, hard. Now you get to stand off, But if you get the law on your side on top of that, then you get chance for make it a little bit longer. Gotta have one plan. Cannot just be all action. But you also cannot just play defense. And that's what we're doing most of the times nowadays. It's, we're submitting testimony for a lot of bills that go against a lot of the things, and it seems like we constantly just play defense, and you're not going to win one game playing defense. You got to have these little spurts of offense on the side in order for actually something. We're great at playing defense, Hawaiians. We know how to protest. We know how to do all these things, but that's all defensive measures. When we really going to win is when we start playing offense. We start taking back land. We start doing these things strategically.
But also, I wanted to say, to your question, what is the benefit, or the fact that they even got it, the fact that they were able to try, or not try, they were able to succeed, to have that sovereign nation within a nation. It's the first step. The fact that nobody acted on it and didn't run with it and multiply this This is the Hawaiians' fault.
Mm.
But they brought the infrastructure. This is how you do it. This is the plan. This is the blueprint. This is how you need to do. And more people should have done that and continued to run with it. Because it's not the first time that the state understands, okay, those buggers, it's trouble.
Yeah.
We don't want trouble. We want money from tourism.
But still can. And that's why I asked the question, what is the benefits? Because I'm looking at it from, like I said, people are comfortable with their creature comforts, right? Like, I don't want to fight for my own. Why am I going to fight for all of us when me and my ohana is okay right now in this house watching this WWE Netflix on Raw?
Yeah.
You know, why am I going to like have to fight? I'm okay right now. Right? Like, I'm okay like this. And that's why I wanted to try and spark something. That's why I asked what the benefits were. Like, what would lead somebody out of this?
Right.
You know, what would light a fire into their ass? I noticed a lot of the standoffs and whatnot were always there was always a heartstring that was plucked that caused everybody to react. You know, Mauna Kea, right? We saw the kupuna get arrested. That's what got me.
Yeah.
Saw them got arrested. I was like, fuck this, fuck them, fuck everybody. I'm dead. You know.
Yeah.
So what is that's why I'm asking, like, what is the benefits of having your own, so that other people might feel inspired to pull up together.
I think people don't even see the huge achievement, because like some people may say, okay, so they have sovereignty in a small place in Waimanalo, who cares? I still got to pay my bills over here. I still got to pay my fucking taxes. I still got to work. I still got to this. I mean, nothing has changed.
No.
But it did, because that little achievement is a proof of concept.
Exactly.
Proof of concept.
Already.
It's a precedence.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now the question is, and again, when I first saw it way later. I didn't watch Bill Clinton apologize in 1993. I watched it many years later,
Right.
where I already lived here. It was way later. But when I did watch it, I'm like, fuck, that's sincere. Like he's like talking and saying it, and he's looking straight to the camera, and he's, apologizing. That means a lot. And then also when Obama he was also reaffirming,
apology.
I'm like, fuck, that's content, that this is real. Okay, how do we take that and actually bring it to the people and understand it into steps? Okay,
Right.
Since we have A,
Mm-hmm.
you need to do B, C, D, and now we can do that.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, cause we was talking before, like sometimes people think, oh, we need 1,000 people, we need 10,000 signatures, we need 100,000 people with us to change something. But sometimes it's only 300 people. Sometimes 300 people can change something so massive, so, unheard of. Only 300 people. What is 300 people? We have at Secret Spot 300 people every fucking night on a weekend. You know what I mean?
300 people beat the Persians.
Yeah.
No, for real.
No,
Right?
300
Like
is nothing, but it's something.
Yeah.
It could be big if you do it the right way.
Yeah. And I think that's like what Johnny talking about. That's the benefit of understanding your rights. And really, again, right now, the most important thing about sovereignty is, like, we cannot give people sovereignty. We cannot give you sovereignty. Like you gotta, like, sovereignty can't even be given by another government. You gotta activate that yourselves. And so all we can do is show people an example for them to see. And the main thing is we gotta understand that, like, we're trying to leave our next generation one foundation and not one fight. So, if we don't get everything we like in this life, tough shit. You're not doing it for you. If you get kids, you're doing it for them. Or if you get other people you believe in that is, like, But if I learn my rights and if I understand this, if we keep seeing these things, like I can get one hui of 300 people. I can get one hui of, you know what I mean? Like back when my uncle then was pushing hardcore in 1995, right before they went arrest my uncle illegally. My uncle became a political prisoner. Actually, they really went. They made one real dramatic arrest of my uncle on like the tarmac of Honolulu International Airport. They went drag him off the plane, and they went hold him in the feds for like, you know, like 6 months without explanation or anything. But because he was building the nation, and they got scared. The judges got scared because he was serving them human rights violations to the judges, utilizing the apology law. And had certain judges over here got threatened by that, and they said, we got to get rid of this guy. But he was educating all these people, and they got scared. And he was just on the verge of just like unlocking this part that we're capable of unlocking today without going through all of that hassle. That's the thing with understanding your history and watching what other people do, is you don't need to have to go through those pitfalls. You know, they like, you know, it's like walking through a trail that somebody went cut already. You don't need to get bust up through the trail anymore because they went cut majority of the trail, you know? And so again, you know, I think the benefit for people that I hope that we can share with others is this education and the steps to give you the ability to assert yourself. Because that's all we can do. You know, we cannot go hold that and go occupy all these, you know, with the 1.8 million acres for everybody. We're only a couple guys, you know, but we can give you the tools and we can help you organize. And guess what? You can have your meeting at the nation because this is sovereign lands. Nobody gonna shut this down. You know, we can organize in that way.
That's a wealth of a mana'o in one place, right? You get questions.
Yeah.
Ask already. Yeah,
ask. You don't need gotta read them in the book and interpret what you think Kameme is telling you for do. You can ask the guy that is still alive. Wow, uncle, what happened when the cops came? What you told them? You know,
how many people live over there?
Right now we get between 80 and 100 people.
Wow.
You know, about 45 acres, we get about 20 houses. You know, we built our own roadways, right? We built our own houses. We built our own water lines. We built our own broadband network. A lot of these things we actually had to build because we got blackballed from the state, from the Kiko, from all of these different guys. You know, all these people that never wanted us to succeed. You know, when the state went actually give us this land, the idea was that we just give these guys this land. And mind you, you go up there now, it's beautiful. But before that, it was a totally invasive eucalyptus forest, just filled, you know, and like mosquitoes and all kinds of stuff. You walk like 10 feet in, it's like dark already. You know, so we had to machete our way in there, chainsaw our way. They figured we was going to stay up there maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years, and then give up and just go back to the homestead. But, you know, putting in the work of actually being sovereign was the next lesson that we had to have, right? When you get your rights and you assert your rights, you get the land. Now it's the time. Like sovereignty begins there. Sovereignty is not in the courtrooms or it's not at the state capitol. Sovereignty is on the ground, in the land. That's going to show you if you're really sovereign or not. That's why when we talk to people today, we tell them all the time, the enemy of Hawaiian independence today is not the state or federal government. It's our own dependencies. When we can solve for those dependencies ourselves, then you're going to be sovereign. You're going to be independent. You're not going to need the U.S. government to recognize you as sovereign. You're not going to need the United Nations to recognize you as sovereign. You're going to be sovereign. But the conveniences, that is the barrier. But that's why we got to develop those solutions to, you know, make life a little bit easier, right? So now if we're going to occupy land, okay, we got to get the container homes ready. We got to get the toilets ready. We got to get the brothers with the great all machines. We'll go in there and start, moving some stuff around. We got to bring the excavator. Like all of these things, you got to be coordinated, you know?
So what did you guys do with the electricity?
We had to run our own like wires from the telephone pole. And basically, our village today runs off of two 220 amp boxes. One 220 amp box is basically what runs one like good size house. We get two of those boxes running one whole village, one for 10 houses and one for the other 10 houses. But we make them work. But you kind of have hot plate. You kind of use blow dryer. You kind of have electric stove, electric washer, dryer. Everything got to be propane. So any kind propane appliance we get them all. Like until I went up to the village and started working with my uncle, I never know I had propane washer and dryer.
He has done that right now.
We get the propane everything set up. But these are the things you gotta learn because you gotta solve for the conveniences that you have outside. But you go inside there. If you ever come up, I would suggest people come to our January 25th. We get one makeke where we have we open the gates, and from 9 to 3 you get one market. Steezy went, check them out one time. But yeah, come up and see. Look at the people, look at the houses, look at the businesses that is thriving out of there. We're not suffering.
Yeah,
we get convenience up the yin yang up there.
Yeah.
That is the end game. That is the goal now. In the beginning wasn't like that, but that took 30 years to build up to. Now,
is there any nonprofit organization tied to this? Let's say one of our listeners, viewers want to donate. Right. Is there a place to donate the cause?
Yeah, we actually created one nonprofit to actually deal with the state because the state never recognized the nation of Hawaii. So we created one nonprofit called Aloha first. And so the nonprofit is actually the one that holds the lease between us and the state. So yeah, that's our nonprofit. And one interesting thing about us, and plenty detractors or just haters out there. They go, you guys not sovereign. You guys get on state lease. Yeah, we get on state. We got state. That don't mean anything because we don't permits for our building. Like we act sovereign where we at, but we do have a state lease. We got onto our lands when we ended the occupation in 1994. From 1994 to 2001, we had no lease with the state. It was just an agreement out of respect because they knew what we was capable of. But finally, in 2001, the state finally came to us with one lease that we would agree to sign. And in this lease, it's basically a boilerplate lease. So every state lease get 60 clauses inside. It's all the same, copy and paste. Well, we get something called the transition clause, number 61. And it's basically, it's called the Kaho'olawe clause. Because right now, Kaho'olawe is being held in trust for a future Hawaiian nation. Kaho'olawe got returned to the Hawaiian people in 1992 after they bombed the shit out of them, after they made them uninhabitable. Uncle Walter then went protest and went stop the bombing over there. And so out of one goodwill gesture, they went give that back to the Hawaiian people, but nobody can live there. But that is going to be the future land base of a Hawaiian nation. So our clause says that in the event, this is clause 61, in the event that a sovereign entity, a sovereign nation of Hawaii is created for the benefit of the Hawaiian people, these lands can be transferred over.
Nice.
So that's our state lease, basically. But the nonprofit signed for that lease because Governor Cayetano at that time told my uncle, the state cannot give these lands back to the nation of Hawaii. So this was the compromise that we came to. And I think a lot of, sometimes a lot of us activists, a lot of our, people that we're fighting so hard for all these things, we don't know how to take the incremental steps towards progress a lot of times. A lot of times we self-sabotage a lot of these things because we're not able to come to some sort of workable compromise, because we like them all. You know what I mean? You go up there, you swinging for the fences, you like the home run. like the double, like getting on base, So we constantly strike out. But we took one compromise with that lease just so that we can get to the point where, okay, now we get something a little bit more stable. Because not having one lease with the state is pretty dangerous when you're occupying state lands. Because that means we got to be on guard. For 7 years, we was on guard, not knowing if the cops was going to come, if the SWAT team was going to come. My uncle's still thinking about 1987 in his mind. Even because we out of the limelight. We're not in front of Makapu, not in front of the tourists. They no can come over there and manhandle us, but in the back of Waimanalo, in the back roads in one forest, they can come do that. So getting the lease was part, compromise, but was also part safety, but was also part of making a precedent. Because now the state admits that there will be a future Hawaiian. That's why people today, they think that this is like hearsay or this one dream or this will never happen. Then why the state put them in one lease? Going to have one future Hawaiian government. It's just, we got to be ready for that. And that's what we're doing in our village today. We're preparing ourselves to be ready for this. So some of the things we're doing is we're trying to grow our own food. We have food sustainability programs. We already build our own housing. All of this we never need the state for do any of this kind of stuff. We just raise money ourselves, sell lala, sell t-shirts, whatever we had to do for create all of these things. But we're creating all of the parts of sovereignty that we're going to need to be one nation, because one day we're going to get what we're asking for. But we got to be prepared for that. We got to be ready for that. So that's what we're doing in our village.
Ooh. Wow. Okay, well, I have a tough one for you.
Okay.
What do you think about the telescope?
About TMT?
Yeah.
I don't think it should be built here. I think it's not what it seems. Because guys don't push this hard for telescope.
Yeah.
Like this is
for this long.
For it like this hardcore. And these guys talking about jobs and all that. What brother work for on telescope? Ask any of your Big Island friends. When you get so much people living on the Big Island, I bet you cannot find one person that work for one telescope. So what jobs they providing? They're not. Again, it's
what do you think it is? Because then, the telescope, this particular one, the big rush back when we were protesting against, was that we need to do it because within a year or two it's going to be out there, and we're like what 4 years, 5 years.
Wow, way outdated. But they get satellites that is telescopes.
Yes,
and you still fucking around with one ground telescope. Look that real, like that. I mean, same thing. We dealing with old stuff that is not real. But honestly, I think it has to do with the military. It's lasers. It's something like that.
Did you watch the other day where the mayor said that now he believes it's good, the new mayor or whatever?
Right. Yeah.
He said, depends on which version. If it's the version of 2019, no, I'm not okay. I was protesting too, me and my family. But the version is now, that's perfect. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? Which version? Show me the changes. I want to see in red. What are the changes?
What is the numbers in his bank account would change?
Frick. It drives me nuts when I see this kind of stuff. You were just elected. You just tell everybody that you're one of us. And the moment you fucking get the fucking seat, you're like, oh, I think that's a great idea. Oh, guess what? I saw one of the comments said, tell me you got money without telling me you got money. I'm like, oh, shit. So true, though.
Bro, and to me, it's just fucking disrespectful. We said no.
Yeah.
We said no. To me, this is like forcing yourself on one woman.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
You don't get it? We said no. What, you need us to stab you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you like us take them to another level? Like, why? For what?
Even your American Hollywood came down in support of the Hawaiians, right? Like, you had all these celebrities come down left and right. You can even win your PR case.
And the thing with the TMT too is they get so much laws that the state would actually break to help these guys get this thing through. They put 5% of that effort towards reconciliation for Hawaiians. Well, we would solve choke problems over here. You're focusing on the wrong thing. We're focusing too much money and resources, state resources. Like, it's not, guys not funding, all these guys putting in for the telescope. They never fund all those cops arresting those kupunas. We did. Like, no means no. So, yeah.
And you know what drives me nuts? It's when they play the card of the science.
Yeah.
When they play the science card, it's for science.
Yeah.
It's, dude, like you said, we have fucking satellites.
Yeah.
Now you fucking want to set up a 30-meter fucking telescope over here. You have them in a fucking out there. Why you need this? And also, if you already been told no, and the girl was caught, whoever from the University of UH that did the soil, whatever, she was supposed to check if it's really going to have any impact on the,
environment.
And then came to find out that she also got money. She was also on this.
Oh.
So how can we already trust?
Yeah.
So we said no because we cannot trust anybody. Fuck, how come they come up with a new one?
To me, I think it's because we don't know how to put things away. You know what I mean? Like, when you get somebody on the ropes, you got to put them away. And you're not going to put them away by playing defense.
Yeah.
Somebody got to go occupy over there. Somebody got to go do something and change the situation and put them on the defense. Otherwise, we're just going to be playing defense for the rest of our lives. And, that's fine if that's what you leave the kids, but we don't can, I think.
So this is where there's the divide, yeah? Like, Makapu, straight from the bottom, right? Nothing.
Yeah.
Then you look at that one. I saw a lot of youth, college educated kids, just all kinds of almost like a renaissance of young educated, but have never been through trenches.
Right.
Right. They took stuff they learned in college and the renaissance to Mauna Kea. What's stopping us from getting everybody on one page and one idea and one goal?
I don't know. It's a tough one. It's like herding cats. You know what I mean? Everybody's so opinionated.
Everybody's
and
gung-ho. Everybody got the.
I know. And even like us guys, we give our thoughts, but that's not our island. You know what I mean? We don't feel like we should be the ones out there organizing that kind of stuff. We only can offer our knowledge and offer our experience through my uncle them and through other families that come from our village. But I think it's gonna take people to kind of just be fed up with stuff. Because if they're too comfortable, then they're not gonna get uncomfortable. Because you gotta get uncomfortable for make change happen. You gotta be willing to make somebody else feel uncomfortable. And if we're not willing to do that, then we're gonna be playing defense all the time. Because what they get that we know more is money. And they get time.
Yeah.
And they get the politicians. They get everything on their side. All we get is ourselves and our conveniences. If we're not able to sacrifice any of those things, of course not myself. I wouldn't want to sacrifice my body for stop on telescope. Get more things for give up my life for mainly my family. But some of these conveniences, we gotta, might have to offer that up. If that's all we got, then that's all we got. Otherwise, it's gonna be built because they get money, they get politicians, they get time. So we gotta pick one.
I think with government, the way it works, they push a little.
Yeah.
And you see you don't do nothing, they push a little. And then you don't do nothing, they push a little bit further. And then nothing. A little bit further. Now you look. 2 years down the line, right, you move plenty. So everybody's saying, it's just this little thing. It's just this little thing. It's just this little thing. Now they do big things. So they never thought in 100 years that the people going to go to Mauna Kea the way they did.
Yeah.
They never thought in a million years.
Yeah.
But suddenly, everybody went there. Everybody.
Yeah.
It was a thing. You take a fucking flight and you go there. You couldn't get flights.
That's the thing, bro. Hawaiians like scrap. Hawaiians is down, always down. You just need the reason.
Yeah.
Everybody's on a give me a fucking reason.
But I think what he was saying is amazing because knowledge is power. And the power of going nuts, we need to save it for Mauna Kea. But on the day-to-day, we need to do the knowledge is power kind and use the knowledge as our powerful, and we got to attack with knowledge.
It's always like a thing that happens that triggers the bradas. Like what was the EV,
right?
Sherwood.
Yeah, Hunana Niho. Brada Kuik stamp.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? But it's always reactionary something, like the telescope, everybody show up. So you're saying go on the offense, get educated. Do you guys offer talk story sessions, or how can someone who wants to get to know more about their rights or what they could do for become more sovereign and empower themselves to maybe one day hui up their community?
Well, I'm pretty active on social media. So I'm at Hawaiian National, people on IG. I'm also on Facebook, and I give out some knowledge through there. But really, you gotta come to the village and just be immersed there. And so every last Saturday of the month, we have these Aloha Aina days, which has been really kind of popular. So we open up our gates from 10 o'clock, and we're there from 10 to 2. And we sit in the back of our village restoring these ancient taro patches. Get a set of 100 something going all the way up towards the Kolau Mountains. And we've already restored about 11 of them. But we there not just for clean taro and clean patches and pool weeds and all that. We there for be immersed in what living sovereign is all about. It's really about growing food. Really about taking care of yourself, taking care of your family, and feeling that. But on the side, we're talking story with people. In the beginning, when we first start our Aina days, it's always an introductory as to why we. It's different. It's not like you go to one taro farm and you help them pull weeds and take a picture when you fall.
Tell you the story. Yeah.
Tell you the story and all that. Yeah. He's got free labor out of you. Thank you. But our Aina day is different because we like you. This is what the future going to look like. We like you feel that. We like you understand that. We like you feel safe in that. We like you yearn for this. So just being there, immersed in the Aina, seeing that we did all this work without any help from OHA, Kamehameha schools, the state. This is just Hawaiians that went push to get their land back. And this is what it'll look like when you give Hawaiians back their land and you get out of their way. And funny, majority of the people that come to our Aina days is non-Hawaiians. They're non-Hawaiians because they have this, I don't know if it's a guilt thing, but they have this sense of longing for community. Because that's what we're really trying to show people, that this can be an alternative to what we're going through today. Because what we're going through today, you're not in one community. It's every man for themselves out there. You basically 2-3 paychecks away from living on the street and fighting for your life against chronics, against pimps, against drug dealers, against all of these entities, till you get finally pushed out of Hawaii. And what we're offering to show people is that there is a different Hawaii that we've been protecting for the last 30 years. Look at this. Wouldn't you want to live like this? Wouldn't you want this to be what Hawaii looks like again? Not just the Hawaiians, but the non-Hawaiians. Because we also get non-Hawaiians that live in our village that believed all these years in all the things we've been doing. One of the closest guys to my uncle, this guy Johnny Kirkley from Alabama, been with my uncle for 30 years, 100% Haole. But he believed what we was doing, believed that we was right, and he been with us ever since. So this is not a Hawaiian issue. This is a justice thing. This is the right thing to do. So I would suggest people come to our Aina days every last Saturday of the month. We open them at 10 o'clock. I think eventually we're going to start, as we keep growing, we're going to start adding in like a little bit more education days here and there. We also have, the makekes, but like these days, people really, you're going through work and all of that, 40 hours a week. You really don't like go to one place where you can get lectured about sovereignty for 3 hours. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard. It's kind of a hard kind of thing to expect people to do. And the people that are going to come is the people that always come. You know what I mean? So you're going to be speaking to the choir. You're not going to be attracting these new people like how we're attracting these people. So sometimes we got to entice them.
What about doing a concert over there?
We'd be open to that. My uncle is like all about that kind of stuff.
Bring like a couple, you know.
You already get, bro. Mono. What you know about Mono?
Yeah.
Mono's like, alright.
Yeah.
They got Hamo singer that live over there.
Yeah.
Because imagine we organize one concert over there just to get people through the door, just to see it. And then there could be like stands and people could get flyers or could get whatever and then educate themselves. And there could be a follow-up if whoever connects to the land and see what you guys do and loves it, he can, come back and connect. But I definitely think that we need to do more of that.
Yeah. Getting together.
Do you guys actually have a passport?
Yeah, we get a passport.
Because I heard
What?
No, yeah. I heard they get one passport. Yeah.
I never bring away. I should have brought it.
Yeah, you should have brought it because back in the day.
Well, there used to be one, right? Back when.
Oh yeah, all countries.
Yeah.
Back.
Yeah.
The kingdom
But
days.
during COVID, I remember I saw one woman. They wanted to stop her or something. She said, "Well, I'm not from the United States. I'm from Hawaii," and she showed him a fucking passport
Yes.
of the Hawaiian nation.
Yes.
And I'm like, "Fuck! I didn't know that even exists."
Yeah.
So you guys actually have a fucking
We got a passport. We try to use them. When we go to other countries and stuff like that. But we also know that not every country gonna
of course
do that. You know what I mean? It's more to get kind of in the habit of doing that. We always get the backup US passport. We always get the backup IDs. I know my cousins, the real hardcore ones, they travel with their Nation of Hawaii IDs and they go through the, but you got to show up 4 hours early for your flight. Because you can go in the back room and brother going to get talked to. Bro.
guarantee.
Pat down, you know what I mean? But hey, that's that's how somebody.
That's what you said. You need to sacrifice your comfortability.
Convenience.
Convenience. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not willing for this. Well, I'm trying to get somewhere because it's not the time for the sovereignty. But I understand people that do that, and that's great. You know what I mean? Because it's got to be normalized. If it's not practiced, again, if you don't use them, you lose them. You know what I mean? So these little things you can do, but like what Johnny was saying earlier about the everyday things, what we can do every day. Just look at where you spend your money. Who you spend your money with is more important than who you vote for. Because that's every day. You supporting every day. I don't care if you vote for Donald Trump. I don't care if you vote for Kamala. If you supporting me in whatever thing I do, then I'm going to support you. This is how the Ahupua'a system used to work. And we get something we practice in the nation of Hawaii, and it's called Ahupua'a economics. And what Ahupua'a economics is about is us supporting each other. Because the idea is to close this loop so that anytime I need anything, I'm going to buy them from one citizen of the nation of Hawaii, own Hawaii. And we got to continuously close that loop, because you know what run everything in the world? It's not the politician. And the more that we can harness our economic sovereignty, the more things going to change. The longer we focus solely on political sovereignty and trying to convince these politicians who don't give a shit about us to change their minds and to be good people and all of that, it's not the way. We need to empower ourselves through our economics. You know, and if it's not economics, then it's growing food or it's doing something. But we gotta be producers again. Cannot be consumers anymore. Being one consumer, you're the rat in the rat race. You're not part of changing anything. But every time you consciously support somebody with your economics, that's why we have the Pu'uhonua O Waimanalo too. Again, we get Aloha Aina Days for Teach Sovereignty. We get Pu'uhonua O Waimanalo, which is about, every second Saturday of the month. Again, we open our gates from 9 to 3. We have one hall up there that we built, unpermitted, huge hall. We have our, our Kanaka vendors, and majority of our vendors is Kanaka wahine-owned companies that got started during COVID, and we just don't let them stop doing that, because the more you're an entrepreneur, the more sovereign. And the idea is to turn your side hustle into your main hustle so we can stay empowered all the time. Because I don't like continuously buy things that don't represent us. I like keep the money with us. I like keep everything here. But unfortunately, we don't produce enough stuff over here. So we gotta encourage the production of things. That's how we change this economy over here. From just being subservient, tourists, military, and all that. We gotta be producers again. But that's another thing. That's a good point you brought up. Get everyday things that we can do. So it's not always gonna be the fight for TMT. It's not always gonna be the fight against these politicians. Get things we can do every single day. You can make one sovereign decision. And that's one of the biggest ways.
Yeah, you. Nah, man. I mean, this is the way to go, man. I really truly appreciate people like yourself and your family and your people that say fuck that, no more.
Can. No more, no can. Just like how Uncle Billy said.
Yeah.
No more, no can.
Yeah.
Can. Always can.
Hey,
Always can.
What, do all the big dogs ever have talk story sessions on the low? Just between I guess between all of us.
Yeah.
Do they at least? I know they know each other. Do they at least
Right.
get on a phone once in a while? Hey, how you guys doing up there?
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
How you guys doing on this side?
Yeah. Yeah, they do. I think that's the kind, like that kind of stuff is needed. You know what I mean? And I think, before it used to be real hostile, right? You know what I mean? You get your kingdom, you get our nation,
I don't
you
like
get
that
your
idea.
faction.
Yeah, that everybody's, because there's always that's the running idea, and I feel like it's something that has been injected into our culture,
And it gets perpetuated.
Yes, and I fucking hate that.
The cliques and this and
they can never get along.
Yeah.
They're busy fighting each other.
And what I always say to that too is, what people in the world that all think the same? Of course, we're all gonna have different ideas. The only guys all thinking exactly the same is probably the guys in North Korea. But everybody else all get different ideas, and that's good to have different ideas. That's good to have these things, these other ideas. And before, when I first got into sovereignty work with my uncle, I used to think like that. I used to you guys don't know what you do. We do, We're the only ones with the land base. We're the only ones with this. And, over the years, I just come to realize that that's so stupid. Because you're totally isolating somebody that could help you. And we could help them. But because we went, we trained on the gauntlet, this is, You guys not doing them like us, so you're doing them wrong. So today, anytime somebody, like assert their sovereignty or, like, oh, this is our kingdom and it's different than ours, and people ask me my opinion on them, I just tell them, but I get the right to do that. Now, I might not agree with the tactics and all that, but I don't disagree that they have the right. And as long as we can all agree that we all have the right to do these things, then somewhere in the middle, we can still have one conversation with each other and exchange tactics and exchange ideas, because the more ideas we get, the better. The less ideas we get is not better. You know what I mean? I look at them as the kind. I don't know if you ever went pai before. It's the kind you when we used to go and we lay net. And so you take like this 300-yard net out in the ocean, and our family used to go, and you just make like one half circle, out in the ocean. And the idea is that whatever you when lay around in there must have fish. And the way you get the fish is everybody go outside. You get about like 10, 20 guys, and everybody take one section. This is 300 yards, so everybody got to spread out. You just splash the water, And no matter where the fish stay, the fish could be all the way on brother's side, and you could have nothing over here by your side. But you got to continuously splash. Because if you don't keep doing that and you go rush to where the fish stay and you start helping him splash, then guess where the fish going to leave through? The side you just left. Everybody get one job to do. No matter how insignificant it is, no matter you think nobody watching, you think nobody care. No, you important. Everything we do is important if the intention is there. You know what I mean? You get one dream, you're doing them not for the money, you're doing them because you believe in them. Then keep watching your side. That's how we gotta approach all things in life. Because if we're gonna do them all alone, you're gonna have a hard time. But we always did things as an ohana, as Hawaiians. We always did things like one ahupua'a. Everybody had one job in the ahupua'a. It wasn't just the ali'i was important in the ahupua'a. If never had the kalo man, never had the fisherman, never had the hale builder, then what these ali'is gonna do? They don't know how to do all these different things. We all play a role. And so, yeah, that's how I look at the movement today, too.
Keep splashing, huh?
Keep splashing.
Keep splashing.
Watch your side.
Yeah, splash them hard or splash them out.
Yeah.
Ooh, how do you like just splash?
Yeah. Splash.
And as part of our research before we had you, we saw you guys have there's a Aloha cryptocurrency coin.
Yeah.
The Aloha coin.
Yeah.
That is active?
Not right now, but that's something we started actually about like 10 years ago, 2014. The idea was, again, back then, Bitcoin was just coming on. I wish we really just bought Bitcoin. But we wouldn't believe in the idea that if we're going to have a nation, we got to have our own money. Because if we're utilizing American money, we're not independent. So we knew that we had to create our own monetary system. So somebody went, turned us on to Bitcoin, and they told us, hey, we can create one cryptocurrency. And these guys was in Japan. And so the idea was that we was going to create one cryptocurrency because in 2014, Japan was going to recognize cryptocurrency as legal tender. And so the idea was that they would buy our Aloha coin over there. And the only place they can spend them is with us here in Hawaii. So we would work with other businesses to get them to utilize Aloha coin alongside the dollar, alongside the yen, as an easy way for like process payments and all that.
I really felt it's a great idea.
Yeah. And what would kill that idea was that these politicians got influenced by the local banks, and they created this law that basically eliminated cryptocurrency exchanges over here.
Yeah.
Because you had to be one money transmitter. So that means that in order for you to sell cryptocurrency, you would have to have like the ability to back this person's money with in real hard cash. And like, wow, who can do that? Like I mean, that's you're gonna have to have like millions and millions of dollars in
Yeah, you
these
gotta be a
exchanges.
bank.
Yeah, you have to be a bank. That's why banks, when influence these politicians, because they had no idea about cryptocurrency
Yeah.
either. The guys that put together this bill had no fucking clue what it is. But that's why these bills aren't written by politicians. They're written by lobbyists.
Yes.
So the
Yes.
banks was up to the gig and they sabotaged it. So we had to slow down. We couldn't do them like that anymore. And we only get so much resources, but we constantly looking for different innovative solutions to solve issues today.
This is all action, huh? Just action.
Just action.
Whatever it is, you get an idea. If it makes sense, you find a plan, figure out a plan, then action that ball guy.
Because we want resilient, agile government. We can like these governments today, they don't can move like us guys. They're just big lumbering bureaucracies. And that's why things don't get solved by these big, huge governments. But because we agile enough, and also because our intention is to solve the problem. Our intention is not to put in my friend so he can continuously get the contract for this and continuously get the other contract for that. You know, we trying to solve issues. So even like the homeless issue, right? Us creating our village the way we created actually inspired people like Auntie Twinkle them and Pu'uhonua O Waimanalo. So when they was having their issues, her, James Pakele, their whole crew came up to talk story with Uncle Bumpy. And after that talk story, they actually renamed themselves from the boat harbor to Pu'uhonua O Waimanalo because they wanted to model the way we was creating our own village, you know, and do that for them. But that's like the only way they could see that solution was because we built that in our sovereign land. You know, for us, for explaining how to fix things, we no can do them in one PowerPoint. Nobody gonna believe us, right? We know the right color for show up with the PowerPoint. Our color, we gotta actually hit them over the head with the solution. And so that village is our way for hit people over the head. Because anytime somebody tell us no can, you just step through the gates and you see what can be done.
Do you see a big future for that? Do you feel that this is going to grow with 100 families, 200 families?
Oh yeah. I think so. I think the more we inspire people to change, you know, and we don't tell people to change, but we inspire them to change, the more change is going to happen. Because you look at the alternative. What is there? No hope, no solution, everything failing, everything falling apart. You know, we want karaoke contest with one drunk uncle that don't know how to sing. And we Dennis Paval. We get the goods, you know what I mean? We're just waiting for our turn at the mic.
Yeah.
Hey, you listening to Uncle right now? Yeah. Oh, tiny bubbles and all that. Yeah. Watch when we come on. You know what I mean? That's all we do. We're just waiting for sure what we're capable of. But need land. Need land. That's the first part. No, we cannot go teach one class about this. We cannot theorize about this. It's not going to come out of the colleges. So I think the more that people come, get immersed in it, the more we talk story. Like I said, we only can influence people. We cannot do these things for them.
Yeah.
I think going to have change. And I think we're seeing it already in the little interactions that we're doing. But we're not scared to do the little conversations and all that. It's not about having one, you know, talking in front of 10,000 people and all that. It's the little conversation. It's the small things. If we talk to 100 people and we're able to change 3 people's minds to see things a different way, then that's successful. Because those 3 people is part of one family of 20 or 30 or 40. We don't see the multiplier effect. We don't see the change that we've given to them or the inspiration that we've given to them. So we're going to constantly just keep putting it out there. But change is going to happen because we're manifesting it right now. It has to happen. It's an inevitability. And I tell all people that get into this movement, you cannot be chasing, um, something that is impossible. If you believe in Hawaiian independence, you already got to put them in your mind that it is inevitable. You cannot think of them as like some impossible dream that, we're going to throw on Hail Mary. Nah. It's 3 yards and a cloud of dust. We're going to get down there. But you got to be willing to put in the game, put in your heart, put in the time, and you got to be willing to teach the young. So right now, we actually in the process of teaching apology law curriculum to Kamehameha schools and charter schools and all of that kind of stuff, because we like hand the ball off. We know that we're not going to be able to solve every single issue ourselves in our lifetime, but that's not going to stop the dream from continuing.
That's the one thing that that was a reality I learned. And I see brothers that they like swing for the fences because they like seeing their lifetime. But I realize we may not see the full return in our lifetime. We may not see those.
Yeah. And we gotta be okay with that.
Yeah.
We gotta be okay with that. We gotta be okay with the incremental changes, because otherwise we keep swinging for the fences. The incremental change is happening on the opposite side of us. Like you said, the little bit they keep taking, that we keep saying okay to. Because we're so worried about TMT, we're not worried about the property taxes. We're not worried about all these other things that we should be watching.
The homesteads.
The land use commissions. You know what I mean? The guys that keep getting their permits passed will do all these developments because we're worried about TMT. We gotta just worry about the big thing. We gotta worry about the everyday things that is happening in our own families even. Some guys like get involved with us guys and we know their family situation is not good, and it's like, bro, you gotta focus on what is important in your life first, because we cannot have these people that is just willing to just, fuck them, because we don't need martyrs. We need actual people that can, continue to build this foundation. Like just guys swinging wild because they don't want nothing for lose, because you taking away one potential future for one kid because you frustrated with your life and how things is going. We cannot do that. So we got to be responsible too when we educate people. We're practical.
What do you think about all those in the West, they're trying to do all kind of houseless, like they bring the whatchamacallem, the mini houses, and then they do like the fucking container houses, and they're trying to do all kind of different things. They try to bring down the cost of a small house, and then they try to do all kind of little villages for the houseless people. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think it's a start to solving, again, it's a reactionary thing that, I mean, we got to try solve them, but that's not the root of the problem. The root of the problem is the development. The root of the problem is the part where you're letting these guys develop these high rises in Kaka'ako. That's the root of the problem. Is because you're letting the property values go high. You're letting these outside monies come in and buy all of these properties and escalate everybody's, property value so high where people cannot afford to live here. They got to stop that. They get more chance of solving homelessness by attacking those issues rather than doing the Band-Aid issues.
But that's not going to happen.
Right.
But it could happen.
It's not. It's not going to happen.
Why you cannot just wrap up? I mean, take the bumpy model, right? Gather all these guys, put them right in front of Kaka'ako. Take one building at a time. Yeah, 300 at one building.
I'll tell you why. Because the governor and all those elected officials, they're getting sponsored for their election, right, by those developers. Right. And those developers, after they're done, they're inviting all those state officials to see the amazing achievement. And then they go and they have a couple of bumps. and then they go and fuck some hookers, and they're all having a good party. Why would they go with Bumpy and Bumpy Light, right, to fucking Waimanalo with a couple of chickens if they have a couple of fucking, you know what I mean? That's the honest truth. It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts, but that's the honest truth.
I think that the government is not going to solve homelessness. I think we're going to solve homelessness.
Because I ask you that because you know my opinion
Right.
is they do that to check it off.
Oh, yeah.
In my time, I created 120 units for houseless people. Bruh, yes, you created 120, but you brought from the mainland another 880 houseless people to live here on the street.
Mm-hmm.
So it defeats the purpose. For every 120 houses you bring, you get from other states another 800.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it, like, don't fucking.
So what you think? Is it working? Building these tiny houses?
I don't think it's working.
Not the way they're doing.
No. You want to help?
Yeah.
Give them the fucking land.
Yeah.
Don't give me the fucking small house. Why you give me this fucking container? Don't. You have to import it. You have to connect it. Don't. Just give me a piece of land. Why you go like this? Go straight forward. You want me to have a place to live? Perfect. Designate 5,000 square foot. This is yours. It's empty. Nobody's there anyway. Give it to me.
Yeah.
And they will create their own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like the only reason they do it to say that they did, but with no actual, it's just like when they did the rail. They ask us, do you want the rail? No. Great. We know better. Here's a rail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you want those little houses? No. Just give us a land. Nah. No. You guys don't need land. You guys need a house. You need, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they feel they know better what's good for everybody.
Yeah.
And they give you just to say that they did, but
I think you just solved the homelessness issue. If you give Hawaiians back their land, then you're gonna solve one big portion of this. One big portion of this. And that's why it's so crazy every year when we don't get any kind of help from the government. They're gonna put in all these resources towards all these like band-aids that of course is not working. Because if it was working, we'd see less homelessness, right? They started these programs trying to copy what Auntie Twinkle them doing, trying to copy what we're doing 5-6 years ago. How the numbers look now? But because the root of the issue is not the constant everyday homelessness, the root of the issue is the inequality happening to Hawaiians, and that keeping Hawaiians off of their lands is actually creating one bigger problem for them, because we taking up the land inventory too. You get guys off of the Hawaiian homes list, you get Hawaiians back onto their lands. Now you get more access to more affordable housing because we're not renting all those places, because we're filling all of that up right now. But I honestly, I don't think the government is prepared to solve any of these issues because what you said, they make money off of the problem. So why are they going to solve the problem?
The fact that they have the audacity to sell agricultural land to foreigners. I'm not talking about an apartment in Waikiki.
No.
Fuck, sell them an apartment in Waikiki. Sell them in Kakako.
Yeah.
I have no problems.
Right.
No problems.
Right.
Sell them in Kahala. But agricultural land?
Yeah.
You know they only buy the agricultural land because it's cheap, but then they fucking build a 7-house mansion, call it a barn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they live there in the fucking North Shore, fucking Pupukea.
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
Yeah.
That land that belongs to the state could have been given to the people that can actually work the fucking land.
Yeah.
But they don't want that.
Well, they also wouldn't want, you look at how much, bumping you guys are able to do while under the thumb. Could you imagine giving that 10 times more power?
Exactly.
You know, it's definitely afraid. It's scary to these guys. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Imagine that you get a bunch of Hawaiians who are now comfortable,
Yeah.
who are now ready to like empower themselves without figuring out how to survive the day to day. Wow, it would turn real fast for a lot of these
And
guys in power.
and that's what we're banking on. And that's why I say Hawaiian independence is an inevitability, because this system is broken and it'll shatter soon. And that's what we're preparing for right now. We're preparing for that inevitability. We're learning how to grow food. We're learning how to get all of these skills, because one day the shit is going to hit the fan. And you don't like be stuck in Waikiki, or you don't like be stuck in any urban areas when the ships stop coming, or when disaster comes, because it's gonna be chaos. And you know, and that's why we gotta like learn how to rely on each other again and not the government. Look at COVID. You think people was relying on the government feeding them, keeping them going and all that? It wasn't those people helping everybody. It was the nonprofits, it was the food, distributions that was going around. It was the ohanas sharing with what they had, you know, these companies that had this excess amount of food. Instead of like write them off, they started sharing them into the communities. Like, we can solve a lot of our issues today, but right now we're so stuck in our own issues and our own world, and we're so socially awkward. We don't know how to make friends anymore. We're no more the community. We're no more the ohana anymore. The way we can get all of that back is we got to get in front of each other. I utilize my social media so that I can get one-on-one, face-to-face conversation with you, not the opposite. I'm not trying to distance myself from you. I'm trying to bring you in so we can talk story face-to-face and connect, because I need you as one friend, just like you need me as one friend. Because guess what? You being friends with me, I get thousands of people behind me. I say building my house right now. I went build with specifically Hawaiian craftsmen. From the electrician to the plumber to the carpenter and all that, because I get a network of Hawaiians that I know that know how to do that. The only way I could do that was I go make friends with them. I go talk story, share with them stuff, invite them to things. They don't know what to do. They like support, they like help and all that. And I don't tell them quit their job and come jump with us and be sovereign with us. I tell them, nah, bro. Thank you. Thank you for supporting us. Why? I can get your number, get your contact, But them connecting with us is what builds the strength of our nation, of our ahupua'a. And we got to do more of that. We got to start making friends. We got to start making community again. It's the only way we can get out of this situation, so that we can eventually have enough people form critical mass to actually make real big time changes. Right now, we're hovering right below this critical mass. All going to take is a couple more guys getting involved, bringing their networks in for us for really affect some major changes. No, take plenty people. It takes a few influential people with big networks, big ahupua'as that can change a whole lot of shit in Hawaii. Hawaii is so small. We travel all over the world to, spread our peace and friendship that the nation is doing and all of that. So we travel to Malaysia. We go on consulate in Malaysia. We travel to India. We go and talk story with people because we're trying to bring economic resources back, in whatever way we can. But I look at them and I look at their problems, and I you go to some place like Mumbai and you look at the slums over there, and you look at you see pollution and you see stuff in the waters. Wow, unreal kind of stuff. But they trying to fix their issues. And man, when I come back home and I look at the stuff we dealing with, it's manini. It's so small. In our minds, it's big because that's all we see. But in the grand picture, we can solve our problems ourselves in Hawaii. We get enough people around, just in our networks alone. The guy's sitting at this table right here, will solve major things. Johnny, you get all this, these connections to all these people. You work in the radio, we get plenty people we know. We can make change happen just us three, but people don't realize the power that they have themselves. And they don't realize that power multiplies when you build on community, when you build on ahupua'a, when you build on nation. We got to believe in ourselves more. We got to trust each other. We got to get together. That's why we have our Aloha Aina events. That's why we have our makekes. Trying to bring these communities together that we think is fractured, but it's not. Still here.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
get re-familiar with your sovereignty. Free yourself. Colonize yourself.
Colonize yourself. Fuck yeah.
Ah, I
Take
think I've
yourself
seen
back.
that shirt. Yeah.
I don't even know, bro.
He's just being creative. You never seen that shirt.
I might have seen that shirt.
Yeah,
I might have seen that shirt.
yeah.
I'm not sure.
Check the
But if not,
trademark.
nationofhawaii.com.
Yeah.
Now, where's the website? Where's the website? Where they go? Where they go?
You can check us out on nationofhawaii.org and Hawaii National. Yeah, I invite everybody to come to our Aina Days. Every last Saturday of the month, come to one makeke, check them out, check our vendors out. We go on economy. We actually give away free bread and eggs at our makeke.
Oh, me.
So for the first 100 families that come to our makeke, you don't need to buy nothing. You just come over there. You just like check them out, check out the view. Come up to our table. We
The
stay in the
yolk
corner.
is yellow or kind of orange?
It's orange
I
because
come.
it's organic eggs.
Yes.
It's local eggs.
I'm there.
So we partnered with Hawaii Food Service Alliance, Chad Buck. I don't know if anybody know.
So I was telling Johnny, I was like, bro, like bring Chad up here. Chad's a solid bro.
Chad is Chad is I would suggest Chad. But people like Chad, they give us hope. Not all corporations is evil. Get certain people in certain places. That's why I know discredit any corporation or any politician until we get to meet them and all of that. Check if bullshit or not. Because get some good ones out there. Still yet, they're not all shady, But somebody like Chad Buck, so every month he donate to us enough for give to 100 families, and we just give them out. So people can come up there, come get your free bread and eggs at Amakeke, come to our Aloha Aina Days, and just witness what one community that is willing to share, willing to, give. Because right now, this whole world is being run by fear. And fear is what creates this scarcity economy that we're living in today. The only thing going to beat this scarcity economy is an abundant economy. And that is built on aloha. That's why, aloha to us is not, not just hello, goodbye. Aloha is the opposite of fear. Whatever fear can create, aloha is its antithesis. In any situation. So aloha is good, bad, and ugly too. Sometimes when guys step into your circle and they get a little bit too close, you got to give them that aloha too that, they're looking for. Because they in one situation trying to, instill fear in you. So aloha is not just one pushover, but aloha is what drove Uncle Bumpy them to occupy Maka'awaawa. Wasn't fear, was aloha. When people see the real aloha, they're going to get confident enough that we're going to rely on each other, and then we're not going to need each other. We're not going to need shit. But we got to have aloha first. But in order for you to give aloha, you got to see aloha. You got to feel aloha. Embrace aloha. You got to have aloha be given to you first. That's one thing that we can give. We might not be able to give you sovereignty, but we can give you aloha.
That's amazing. I love the way you finished it. It's
Oh, we Paul.
No, but I'm saying
Some guys gotta do stuff,
and you finish your rant with a nice because in order to give aloha, you need to get aloha.
Yeah.
So if the smallest thing that everybody can do to support the nation is give aloha, because if
That's
you
all.
give aloha, they will give aloha, and then people will understand the importance of that. It's not just hi, goodbye.
Yeah.
It's love. It's more than that. It's more than you can explain. You need to feel aloha to understand what it is.
You get aloha being yelled at by somebody, bro.
Cause that's aloha.
You know what
That's
I mean?
aloha that I wish had more of.
Yes. People, you know what? If you like, go work construction. Cause I get brothers on
Choke
that.
Aloha,
That
eh?
is fucking you fucker. Try to fucking pipe in there, stupid. For the fucking thing, break your leg, right? Like
Yeah, they saving
he's
you.
looking out for you, dog.
Exactly.
Like, motherfuckers come back all butt hurt. You know what I mean? Then you gotta go tell them, bro, only yelling at you for save your leg.
Oh, bro.
Oh.
Oh, we're gonna have one whole other kind of psychological.
Like it's okay to get
Cause-
yelled at, children.
Yeah.
Well, we wanted to show you also some aloha. We have something small for you. First of all, we have a little award for you.
Oh.
It's the Aloha Hour Hama Award.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that one you can use.
It's the only award
Thank you, bro.
given out in all of Hawaii
Right?
that you can use every day.
Yeah.
It's not something for show off. Something. I mean, it
Exactly.
is, but it isn't.
You can put them to use.
Straight up.
Exactly.
Do it in your house, bro.
Appreciate
And
it. Yeah, bro.
and while we're at Aloha, we have something small for you in addition to your award.
Oh, I knew I loved this podcast.
This is a little
Oh, I hope
hat for
I hope
you.
he get his size.
Oh. I know, yeah.
No, I don't know.
I'm not gonna embarrass myself and put him on the last dots.
Bro, yeah, last Boston boys.
Last
That's
Boston
us.
boy.
What size fitted do you wear?
7 and
Oh, you smart. Bro, I'm an 8 and a
7
quarter,
8. Oh, 8. See, I never like say 8, but
I'm-
8 is comfortable.
Depends on the humidity. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Well, I get this whole luscious locks. You know what I mean? I gotta fit them underneath here. But I get one brother that he made me on Mahiole. You know
I
that
seen, bro. I
Ah,
followed that guy, bro. He makes
Ah.
beautiful stuff.
wow, and get him so much action. This fucker is booked out all the way to the end of the year. But there's some brother from Las Vegas, but he actually coming. He gonna visit us tomorrow. He'll take the measurement for like kid. No, wear them and so because we gotta normalize that. People, you know, some guys they comment, fucker, what you think you the chief and all that, and like, bruh, it's our culture.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Us guys, we go to all these indigenous events. Everybody wearing all this stuff. We still over there with the kind of Manueli.
Yeah, right.
Okay, all
Like,
we get is
bro.
one shirt, bro. All these howlies wearing the same exact shirt. You cannot tell us the difference between anybody else, but we gotta bring back our garb, our
Yes.
stuff. But
This
yeah.
one is killer too. And it's like I like because it's what is it made of? Wire?
It's like a weave, like how they
plastic
used to
kind.
have before, but I don't think it's like a little bit more synthetic,
More modern. That's why I like
more modern. And hey, you know what? It's all good because our people was, they was always innovative.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I like to remind because every time somebody think about Hawaiians or think about sovereignty, they take it instantly back to
Yeah,
Iolani Palace days, and I'm like, bro, no, Iolani Palace was the future of back then. So we looking at us now is different.
right, exactly.
It's okay to make something not of the traditional, as long as the spirit is traditional.
Yeah. One kupuna once told me, culture don't change, traditions change. So you always got to be constantly evolving the culture, but changing the tradition. Got to get better. They got to get more efficient. Look at Mark Malu. At he might do stuff that is non-traditional, but it's exciting. It gets people going. You know what I mean? You look at him at the Marian Monarch. It's not all the same as everybody else, but he trying to evolve the culture in a different way. I might not agree with a lot of the things you do, but that we gotta constantly be proving our things.
It's beautiful too that they allow him to have space.
Yeah.
Like,
And he don't care if you win or not. That's the cool thing about it. No
Yeah.
go in there with no expectations. You're not gonna get butt hurt. Win.
go in there for jam.
Go in there for fucking go viral or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's what he do. Like nobody can name who won Mayor Monarch last year right now.
Oh, watch out! You're gonna have all the hula.
Oh,
all
that's
the
right.
hula
Yeah.
halas about to hit you up, bro. What you said, brother?
Yeah. But yeah. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. So beautiful.
Thank you so much for coming on.
I appreciate
It was
you,
a
bro.
great pleasure to hear it firsthand. I know we were trying to do that for for a long time already. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for blessing us with your presence. Thank you for your wisdom. And thank you for continuing what your family and your uncle started. Because, they proved that it's possible, And once there's a proven concept, people can imitate and do that too. So thank you. And please tell all your family and friends, thank you for what they did.
I will.
And we will continue to perpetuate and support and help and try to do the best we can to support the cause. And we believe in a sovereign Hawaiian nation.
Thank you, brother.
Coins go viral.
Yes,
Yes, sir.